going to introduce me.
Okay, cool. Got it. I'm going to pull out my Facebook on my phone so I can tag you.
It has started, you know that.
Oh, all right. There's always that little delay, when it's like, are we live?
Uh-huh.
We are now streaming. Hey. All right. Well, hey, I'm Saeri Wilde, and I am here with my coach and colleague, Isabelle Tierney.
Hey. I don't know why I'm sounding like a California girl, but it's good to be here.
We started that way this morning, like exactly like, hi. So I have, I've been coaching for, I think maybe 6 years now. And I've been on this really wild journey, just navigating my own life and creating this business and having my baby by myself. She's 3.5 years old now. And yeah, like how to come up as a practitioner who lets your gifts come through and be a safe person. I've also been a yoga teacher since 2010. And I remember when I first started teaching yoga, I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to hurt these people, So through my journey, I have discovered this process that I call Clarity Journey. And we're going to talk about the first step in it today, because I'm offering it in a free workshop in a couple of weeks. And every time I talk to Isabelle about it, it just comes through me so clear. And she's been recognizing what a powerful process this is. And we really just want to share it with other people in a time when it's very challenging to navigate how to get help right now. So we're calling this the step to take before hiring a coach / teacher guide.
Yeah. And I mean, the first time you talked to me about this process that you're offering, I was so blown away, because having been a coach now as a therapist and then a coach for so many years, the whole process of like, how do we decide as a client? We usually have to put in a fair amount of our money and a lot of our vulnerability and of our transparency and of our emotions and of our who we are. And there's tons of books written like, how do you find the best coach, and you do it this way and this way. But the way your witness process that I want you to tell us about, like, I was like, I want to do that. And I want to use that for my own clients, because it gave me a sense of safety and security. And, as you call it, clarity, that I thought was just really extraordinary. So will you tell us about that first process?
Yes, thank you. I'm getting chills right now just hearing you say that. So I had done so much work. And if you compared me to my past self, or you compared me to someone else who didn't do that kind of work, like, it would be like, wow, you're amazing, you're great, you're good, right? But I in the last 4 years or so, I started identifying this as, I call it the residue. And it was like, it just seemed like no matter what I did, there were these certain patterns that just kept coming up in my life, and I just couldn't quite get through them. And I would do these things that were really impressive and make these big leaps and have these great breakthroughs and mystical experiences, but that residue just remained, and it didn't look like much to anybody else, but like, it was my block. And so witness ceremony, what it is that I'm recognizing here that I learned this from my coach, David Schwendeman, actually, that like, I mean, commitment isn't like the thing that you see or even like do. It's not the manifestation. It's the energy that creates everything that you see. So when you have a pattern that's repeating seemingly no matter what you do, there is an underlying unconscious commitment that is at the root of it, that is driving it and creating it.
Love that. That's so beautifully said. A commitment, because I've talked about it as a choice sometimes, but I think that's deeper what you're saying, an unconscious commitment to that pattern, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And it is rooted also in, there was a survival moment the first time you made that choice. And then what happened is it got carried forward into your life and you forgot, probably because you were a kid when that happened. And so, it's unconscious to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And so when you go to try to get rid of it or grow through it or whatever, which is like, that's what we try to do, right? We're like, I have this block and I need to get
Limiting
rid
belief.
of it. Yeah, I have a limiting belief. And this is what really like, rubs me the wrong way about all this stuff about mindset in the coaching industry. Like, oh, mindset work, and it's just your mindset. No, it's deep in your bones and your body. That's where it is. And yes, your mind plays into it. Your mind has all these games where it looks the other way and like, and it's trying to control your life. Like the metaphor of a toddler driving a car, I think is the most accurate I can come up with. And like, how stressful is that for a toddler, to think that it needs to like drive, and then to actually drive, that's just dangerous. So we have these toddlers that are driving our lives stressed out, causing all these problems. And then when we're trying to like push through our blocks or get rid of them, dissolve them or whatever, they're going deeper because the pattern, the commitment itself, the program says that you need it to survive. So it's just trying to take care of you.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, so unless you know about this and unless they do your ceremony, right, it's easy. I literally have had the experience. I call it the amnesia wall. It's like, it's suddenly like it goes into hiding and you're like, what was I just talking about? Like, and you go and distract yourself to do something else, right? Because you're saying beautifully, like, well, if you try to reject me, to push me away, I'm going to just burrow, right? The word that comes is burrow
Yes.
even deeper. So tell me about how your ceremony addresses that.
Well, I want to say one more thing about that dynamic is that, so if you can imagine the pattern and the commitment and the belief itself as like a being, it's a being that it believes that it keeps you safe. But what's really happening after the initial time that it actually worked, and that's something that is really important to acknowledge, is like, it worked, thank you. But what's actually happening is that it's just keeping itself alive. And so it creates a feedback loop. So it actually will get you to what you want, but then it's going to loop you right back into the problem because it thinks that you need that to get what you want in the first place. Does that make sense?
Give us an example.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I can just tell you the results I got out of the witness ceremony. I shared it with you and you're like, holy shit. Like, what? That's so powerful. So I went and I did this, I was preparing this ceremony because I've only been doing it one-on-ones, and I was preparing it to facilitate in a group and also for self-facilitation. And so I self-facilitated on myself. And what I came up with was, so my pattern that I recognized through this process was when people love me and leave me. That was my pattern that I was recognizing. Like, this is the reality of something that keeps happening. I'll have this amazing connection, this amazing love, and, not just romantic, but that certainly is what fueled it for me. Also with projects. And there's this just kind of like abortive pattern, and then it's gone. Like, either I run or they run, usually they run, and I'm just like trying to keep it together. So then I went through another part of in the witness ceremony to come up with what is that. There's a benefit to it. Yeah. That's what you have to understand. There's a benefit to it. And what I came up with was, and this is what this ceremony does, you'll get your own statement like this. And it's astonishing. And especially if you're someone who you already know a lot about what your problems are. So mine is, when people love me and leave me, I feel connected to God.
Mm. So what I'm hearing is that in that place, God and other humans, it's almost like humans compete against your connection to God.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or there's also this feeling of like that generate, like it sends me back. Uh-oh.
I'm still seeing you.
Okay, cool. Mine just froze.
Mm.
It looks like I'm about to sneeze on my side.
I can totally see you. So I want to keep moving because I want people, trying to keep it on a certain amount of time. So to keep people, I want them to be engaged. What you're saying is the core of what you got people to. Then what is it? Once you discover that core, then what happens? Do you find that just the act of actually revealing that core, which is not easy to do because, as we were saying, it hides, does the healing by itself, or is there work to be done after you reveal the core pattern, the core belief?
Yeah, so I was just, it looks like we are still rolling. I'm still frozen on my side. So
Are you?
yeah, I'm just, and there's a delay with the video.
Right.
So I'm just waiting to see if it. Okay, cool. It is working.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's a great question. Because it's like we have lots of warning labels on this process that I'm just going to be like looking over probably the computer so I'm not distracted by our frozen faces. Yeah, so we just recognize like, well, it's not helpful to just drive it, to just try to get rid of it. And that's the first thing that, we feel like, oh my gosh, I just saw this like kind of terrifying program that's been running. Like I have somewhere inside me like an incentive. Okay, cool, it's working again. I have an incentive be abandoned in order to create abandonment, to create abandonment in order to feel connected to God. And it's like there's this kind of horror that comes with it. It's just like, well, I obviously need to get rid of that so that I can have love in my life.
You can have both.
I can have both. God can come through my relationships. Yeah, there's that competition thing you were sensing. But we don't, we really want to love it and presence with it when we discover it. And there's guidance in this facilitation we'll be doing. It's on September 13th for how to work with it, how to be with it, because you just kind of want to get still first. You don't want to go making any decisions because it can drive it deeper. And you can really spin out. It's just not a good, well, I mean, it's like your work, with the green zone. It's like, you don't want to make a decision
from fear
or
rejection. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you want to be making it from a place of, well, I mean, how would you describe the green zone?
Spaciousness,
yeah,
consciousness, choice, right, versus reactivity. Like even the way you said when you first discovered it was like you were almost horrified. So it would be easy for that part of us that's horrified, like what, to want to like get rid of it. But what you are teaching people is like, whoa, all right, let me sit with it, right? I know it has saved my life. I know it has served its purpose. I mean, to me, I feel awe at that, what you discovered about yourself. Like, wow. And like you said, like, thank you, right? It isn't like, thank you, okay, now let me get rid of it. That's not what you teach. You're
Yeah.
like, thank you. And then let's see what wants to happen next. Sometimes what I imagine is can be re-educated. So it can be grown up. I imagine you have a whole bunch of tools in your magical toolbox because I imagine it's different, maybe even for everybody once they discover that root. But what I love about it, Saeri, is that it's like you said, like, oh, that explains, like it's almost like a thread, when you knit, you can unspool, like, oh, that's why that, oh, and that's why that really, oh, and that's why, and it all suddenly makes sense.
Yeah.
And the choices and what happened in your life makes sense. And that's like, to me, at least when things make sense, I'm like, the relief that I feel and just everything shifts. So I think that's such a beautiful piece. So will you describe a little bit in the last few minutes, like what does the ceremony entail? Let's talk details. And then I know you'll share more in the post, but how long is it? Like what's happening for people who want to do this for themselves, right? To discover, what is it? Their unconscious commitment to patterns that they can't let go of. Like, tell us about what that entails.
It's called witness ceremony because it's, I think a lot of this was my birth metaphors are all coming up again. And now I'm remembering that I trained with this wonderful midwife teacher. Her name's Wapio. Her business is called the Matrona. And she said to me, or she said to my class, 95% of the time, all that we need to really heal is witness. Like true witness. And, we run around trying to tell our stories all the time, like you can hear yourself on repeat, just trying to work it out.
I was abused, I was neglected.
Yeah. And yet it just has that graspy feeling, that hamster wheel feeling, like I'm not getting anywhere with this. And so this is like, let's really tell the story. So that's the first part of the ceremony, is telling your story. Now, when I facilitate this one-on-one, it takes like an hour usually. But we found when we were testing it with self-facilitation that to witness your own story, it can take about 15 minutes. You can be pretty quick with it. So people are either going to write or record their own stories. And so this is about the past. This is about history. And then what we do is we're going to review it. So you witness it yourself. So first you tell it, and it's going to be for yourself, but then you take another chunk of time, another 15 minutes to really look over it, read it back to yourself, listen to the recording for yourself. And you're taking notes as you do this, looking for the pattern that you're going to work with.
And you will be there holding space, right?
Yes.
And witnessing, even though you won't witness the unique story, you're witnessing the space, which is everything.
Yes. So I'll be there, whispering little words of encouragement. And we also decided that we're not going to be like playing music or anything, because what we found is like, you will feel uncomfortable. And that's the point.
That is the point, right?
So we don't want to be comforting here. We want to be with as much of reality as you can muster about your own story. Really witness it. And then once you've identified the pattern that you're going to work with, then I have a process that I'm leading people through to track the neural pathway of the benefit of that pattern. And so that's where we start with, like mine was, people love me and leave me. That was the pattern that I got from my witness. Then we track through the neural pathway, and the last thing we come up with is the answer, is the benefit of that. So I just, then I just pasted those together, just skipped over all the, squirrely stuff, and it's like God for me. And then we'll give, then I have a practice I'm going to share to presence with it moving in the time after, you know, when you get off to support you. And because what you're really going to want to do is start watching how you do it. And you'll start to see, oh, there it is. And you'll have these moments that are like junctions, you know, you come to the crossroads and you're like, oh, in the past I was unaware of this pattern. And I, even though I was trying to go this way, you know, or trying to go this way, then I was going the other way just by default. And you might even, you're not at this point, not trying to really change it. Like you might make some different choices, but it's super valuable to consciously do it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, to consciously do it is a radically different experience than to unconsciously do the pattern. It's almost becomes difficult to do. It's a lot. What I love about what you're saying is that most people be like, oh, now I need to get rid of it, right? Now that I know what it is. But what you're actually encouraging us to do is like, actually, no, just consciously do it. But I find that the healing occurs much more powerfully when we do that versus when we just try to get rid of it.
And then it's usually like the last or one of the last times you ever do it.
Exactly.
Because when you really see the stakes and what you're really doing to yourself, when you really see that without all those buffers, without the unconscious and all the really fucked up logic, bless its little logical heart, mind heart.
It's little illogical heart, yes. Logical, illogical, yeah.
I mean, it's a really freaky kind of logic. Like you look at it, when you see the neural pathway like all mapped out, it's like, oh, this is how it makes sense to itself.
You know what it's like? It reminds you a little bit of when a person drinks or is under the influence of something, and then they like really think they make logical sense in what they're saying, and you're kind of watching them like, what are you talking about? It's a little bit like that, isn't it? That you described. All right, tell us dates and amount of time people will need to put aside, and that it's free. So what the September 13th, and what time, and how much time do people need to put aside to do this?
Oh, so it's an hour, and then we'll have 15 minutes of a Q&A.
Great.
Following the hour ceremony.
Great. And you're going to put everything, all the links to sign up.
Yep, I'm going to pop it into the comments. So it's, you know, it's just a form where you'll enter your name and your email, and then you'll get an email with the Zoom link and, you know, calendar links to put in your calendar. Yeah. And I'm just double checking my calendar. I try to not leave such things to my own memory. So it's Monday, September 13th.
Okay.
You know, I'm in Pacific time, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Perfect. So 11 Mountain. All right. Well, I want to say to you again, and it's not just because I'm your coach, it's actually the reason you chose to do this live with me is because you got to see the way I reacted to your explanation of your ceremonies, this one being the first one. And I really, really say, I'm doing my challenge. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend, but I really encourage people to attend, because what Saeri is able to do to hold space for is just extraordinary. And in my storyline about you, if people take the time to do that, it will change their lives. And so I say, just sign up. Is there any other way that they have any questions? Just put it in the thread.
Put it in the thread or message me directly. Okay. I'm very active on Facebook Messenger, not so much on email. But yeah, right. I mean, you could reply to, you know, the email that you get from your, you know, from your registering. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your recognition of this and supporting me in this. And I know you're not just, you know, blowing.
Oh, I've never done this before. I have never done this before. So, all right, everybody. See you later, and see Saeri on the 13th. Bye.
Bye. Okay. And then I need to know how to end it. I think it's from the screen.
Right? I know I've done this before where I've continued, which we are.
You have. Yeah, we're still going. Maybe I do it from the menu that I found it on.
You want
Stop
to
live
just,
stream. I found it.
there we go.
Okay, thanks y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.